The dollar needs a managed decline. Really? Does it? Oil is currently at $84 a barrel. It held fairly steady there while gas prices are declining. Why is there demand for oil when we have record reserves of gasoline that no one is buying? Did you know that we have record reserves of gasoline? We're in a slowdown now. Are you going on all the trips that you would like to? Why would we be buying oil? Why? It's a commodity. Oh, and one more thing. As the value of the dollar falls, it takes more of those dollars to buy that same barrel. The Saudis don't care. The Saudis are like, I don't care what you do to your dollar. We'll just, oh, it went up. You're inflating it by 2%? Oh, yeah. Here's the price of oil, just went up 2%. That's the way it works. And the last couple, perhaps the most disturbing. Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, GMAC, all suspended foreclosures. Now, this is both good and bad. If there's bad things going on, we've got to find out about it. But I want you to think this one through, America. Think about it. You're not paying for your house because you're in trouble. And you're not making the payment, and the banks refuse to foreclose on it because the government is saying they can't. Okay, that's good for you, the home buyer. But now let's think this through. Let's look at everybody. I mean, I've never done anything, you know, I was going to say in my life, but I did most of my life this way. I've tried not to do anything in the last 10 years in my life that isn't good for everybody involved. If I go to a business, into business with somebody, if it's bad for them, it's bad for me then too in the end. It's got to be good for all of us. So let's look at all of the partners. Is that good for the bank? Okay. Do you think any neighbors will say, well, if you're not paying and they're not going to foreclose, I'm kind of having tough times too. I'm not going to pay either. If I'm the bank, if I can't take the collateral, if you said you would pay and you can't, and now I can't take that house and resell it, well, why would I take the risk? If I can't get the money back or the collateral, why would I take the risk? If the government won't allow me to collect. If there's corruption at the banks, it needs to be found, and it needs to be found quickly. As this drags on, and it will, it brings the mortgage industry to a grinding halt. If banks can't foreclose, well, then they can't loan either. Why would you loan if you can't be guaranteed that you're going to get something back? And if banks won't loan, well, then how do you buy a house? How do you sell your house? Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi and 30 other geniuses in Congress are moving to investigate foreclosure practices of U.S. mortgage lenders. Gee, I wonder if the mortgage companies will be painted as the big evil corporations who are kicking people out into the streets while the greedy, evil CEO gets a bonus. Look for a punishment followed by a necessary takeover of another industry that's too big to fail. Well, actually, it won't be a takeover, not in a socialistic sense. It'll just be a little bit of control. Let me go back to this book that I showed you yesterday. It's written by Stuart Chase. I showed you this and I told you we had a hard time finding it. You can't find this in New York. We had to go, I think, to a library in Arkansas to actually find it. This isn't a well-known book. It is written by Stuart Chase, The Road We Are Traveling, 1914 to 1942. This is what he said. He said, something's happening to capitalism. He wrote this in the 1940s. Something's happening to capitalism. It's either turning into fascism, communism, or state capitalism, which is what China is, which they say now is the new model. He says free enterprise, but we're just going to call it turning into something marked X. When he gets to property, he says there's not much taking over of property or industries in the old socialistic sense. Listen to this. The formula appears to be control without ownership. It is interesting to recall the same formula is used by the management of great corporations in depriving stockholders of power. You got it? Who is this guy? You should know this man because he's the guy who coined the phrase the New Deal. If you look at what he talks about in the 40s about what's coming and how you just take over industries, you don't just seize them because that's too socialistic. It is exactly what Barack Obama has done. They took over control of industries. Put yourself in the progressive mindset. Put yourself, put the stained glass window back up. Put yourself in the progressive mindset that the free market is evil and must be stopped. They are pounding at the globe to reshape it nearer to their heart's desire. I'll have more on that in a few minutes because that's one line of a very famous poem that people don't know, and you have to understand the poem. Not enough people get that there are people on Earth that want to remake the globe, fundamentally transform. Progressives have been playing this game for a very long time, and it is a vicious cycle. And it only ends up in even more government control. Back in a minute. I heard a story today that practically blood just about shot out of my eyes, and it was this one. New York City and state want the U.S. Department of Agriculture to ban the use of food stamps to buy sugary soft drinks for 2 years to curb obesity-related diseases among the city poor. So that would be this. They say the soft drinks are the largest single contributor to the obesity epidemic. Probably true. Bloomberg and Patterson made a joint statement in this. First reaction to the story this morning was the wrong reaction. It was good. Good. You take government assistance, then they have every right to tell you. It was the wrong reaction. But it's partially true. Our parents told us, at least mine did, I'm sure yours did too, as long as you live under my roof, you will play by my rules, you'll eat what's put on your plate. When you get a job, right? Well, when we take handouts from the government, we are under their roof, and we have to do it their way. That's what I've been warning about. Benjamin Franklin, however, there's a reason why Benjamin Franklin, I chose him to be the model of charity. Benjamin Franklin was an amazing, amazing man. Charity he understood. And what did he say about it? He said, the best way to help people is to make people uncomfortable in their poverty. It's the fastest way to get them out of their poverty. Well, the government has been doing the exact opposite. They encourage people who would otherwise never dream of using food stamps to use them. Watch.
Introducing SNAP. It helps you eat right when money's tight.
Wait, excuse me. Did you say SNAP?
Yes. SNAP is the new name for the federal food stamp program. Lots of people with low income qualify for SNAP but don't know it. If you qualify, you'll get a card you can use to buy all sorts of food, including fruits and vegetables. It works like a bank card when you check out.
A card? Like the one you swipe and goes beep?
Yes, that's right. SNAP offers help to all kinds of people.
So wait, can I be eligible if I have a job?
Yes, you can if your income's low.
But I have a car.
No problem. You may still qualify.
But I own my own house, so can I still qualify?
Yes, you might.
Well, that goes to Cloward and Piven. Get as many people onto the system as you can. I don't know the situation of what they're creating here, but is that who you think of needs food stamp system? I mean, you got a car, you have your own house. I know things can get really tight, and I don't mean to judge anyone, but is that who we're targeting? Back in April, President Obama changed the income limitations in order to greatly expand the number of families that qualify for food stamps. People can now earn up to 200% of the poverty level and still qualify for food stamps. The campaign seems to be working. We have just set a new record, gang. 41.8 million people are now using food stamps. Now, why would we be trying to get more people on food stamps? Let's go back to New York City. What are they doing? They're telling you that you cannot purchase these with food stamps because you're Homer Simpson. You just don't know. You're going to choose wrong and the wrong kind of food. So the government will choose for you. If you're one of those 41.8 million, wake up. They're going to tell you exactly what to eat. And as long as you take their gifts, they have the right to do it. Think of what the guy has to say now behind the counter to you. See, look at how this, it's not only that they're going to tell people with food stamps that they can't have this, but the person at the 7-Eleven counter, you come up, you've got Doritos and a soda and food stamps. Now that guy's in the position where he has to play the food police. At the same time, in places like California, they want to legalize marijuana. They want to legalize marijuana, but soda is a no-no. Let me tell you something quickly on the marijuana thing. Weimar legalized everything that could help people be distracted before the trouble came. More importantly, this one is about getting young voters out. But I digress. Back to the soda. Soda taxes have already happened in Washington State, Philadelphia. New York and others have been trying to get a soda tax passed as well. So let me ask you this. If you're trying to create jobs, how's this going to help Coca-Cola? This is the MO for progressives, control. It's exactly why we've been warning you with government health care. Let me ask you this. They're doing it now. They want to do it here in New York and New York State. And it will happen because you're living under their roof. But let me ask you this with health care. Won't you be living under their roof with health care? You'll have to play by their rules. If this is the leading cause of obesity, well, are you going to be able to buy soda? I've shown you this week their rules are cold and calculated. 1913, Teddy Roosevelt. Just bought this today. We wouldn't tell the store in New York who it was for because, quite honestly, I don't know if they would have sold it to me. Teddy Roosevelt battle flag, the Progressives, 1912. This is an original handkerchief. By 1920, this is when they started the progressive movement. By 1920, in an era without television, without radio, without mass media, anything that was mass to spread the news quickly, people had seen enough of progressives. They were done with them. They were horrified by progressives from 1912 to 1920. Progressives were in a shambles. The federal income tax, 1913, enacted. Promise always to keep the rate low. Top rate, 1913, 7%. 1918, keep it low. Turned into 77%. During that same period, the lower rates never climbed over 6%. So, even though most people were virtually paying nothing in taxes, people were so spooked by progressives. By the way, can't drink anymore. It's bad for your health. They started slashing taxes, and by 1925, the top tax rate was back down to 25%. The lowest bracket was back down to 1.5. Progressives are the same now as they were then. Ask Hillary Clinton. They have just packaged it better this time. They've just packaged it. They learn from their mistakes. The question is, will we?